This time I have a Samsung VHS Hi-Fi VCR that was brought to me to have a look at. This one has a bad picture. And I know these things aren't worth fixing, but someone's got to do it, right? I'm asked to check it. I'll check it, see what's wrong, see if we get lucky. This one's got a half of a picture. How's that sound? Half a picture is all we get. So it's half a VCR, I guess. Anyway, let's see what the problem is. This time I have a Samsung VCR. This is just a VHS Hi-Fi machine, 19 micron video head, 400 times rewind, record files, self-diagnostic. This is a VR8140C. Don't know even what year this one is. It seems to be, it's all plastic, so it must be relatively late model. And apparently it doesn't play back very well. So let's just take a look and see how bad things are. Well, that's kind of neat. The display on the front here. And yeah, it looks bad. It looks bad. So what it appears to be doing is it appears to be switching the heads at the wrong time. If I stop it and remove the tape and start it again, it will probably show a completely different picture. Okay, it's going to show me the same picture every time here, but sometimes this would be like, it could be random. It could be halfway through the shot, halfway through the picture. It could be the bottom half, the top half. But it's a head switching problem. There, you see? Precisely. So now we're missing the bottom half. So what's happening here is the heads are switching at the wrong point. You can actually see there's a dropout compensator trying to repeat the last line until it goes away completely. That's how the dropout compensators work on these, is they use an analog delay to delay the prior line, and when there's a dropout, they can switch the analog delayed line in, but they only do it on the luminance. They don't do it on the chroma. In this case, it's repeating that last line that it could see here, right here. It's repeating it multiple times, you see, same with here. And then it finally times out and says, okay, we've lost signal. If I try forward search, same thing, reverse search. So I guess the first thing to do is pull the top off and see if we can see why this isn't working. I don't know what year this one is. It's made in China. So this was made after Samsung stopped making their VCRs in Korea. Moved the factory to China. Got a metal chassis with plastic guides. I guess the first thing to do on this is we'll pull the chassis. See if there's any. I don't see any capacitors on the board here. Sometimes they had a little coupling capacitor to couple the pulse generator in. There's a little magnet right here, and that's used. There'll be a pickup coil on this side. And that's used to provide a pulse which tells the system where the heads are. That's what synchronizes it. It creates a pulse to tell the servo when the video head is starting its travel. There's only one magnet on here, so it's only picking up one pulse. It will tell it probably where the A field begins. And by dividing the time in half, the pulse, they will switch to the other head. That's what's usually used for switching the heads, is a pulse that's generated by the drum itself. And that's this little magnet there. Of course, if that little magnet was missing, then of course you wouldn't have any pulse and you'd have a symptom similar to that. But the magnet's there. First thing I want to do is I want to pull the deck out. I just want to check underneath and see whether there's anything obvious. Any broken connections or anything that looks out of place. So I'll pop the, I guess I got to pull the front off this one. I don't recall ever opening one of these machines up, so this might be the first time into one of these chassis. Does not look familiar. I've seen others similar to it, but I might recognize something once I get into the bottom. Looks like there's 3 screws that hold the chassis, and I wonder if the board is attached to this one or whether it'll just lift out. I hope it just lifts out. Let's see what type of mode switch is on this one, but there's 3 screws that hold the chassis down, so maybe we're going to get lucky and this is going to be an easy one to get into, because some VCRs were just a joke. And then some of them were really easy. And is this one going to be an easy one, or is this one going to be a joke? There's one more screw back here. I'm wondering if the head, like the rotary transformer, plugs in or whether it's got a cable that's attached. I don't see a cable, so it might just plug in. Let's see here. Does this lift up? It does, and it plugs in. Okay. Ah, so that's the chassis on this one. I've seen this chassis before. Got a mode switch, which we should be cleaning while we're in here. Where's that PG connect? The PG wires go to, it looks like, pin 1 and 2 of this connector. Okay, what's that? Grease? I guess it's grease. Board should lift out on this quite easily, I think. There, that was easy. I'm going to look at these connections down here and see if I see anything cracked or anything that looks out of place that might be interrupting that PG signal. Because I'm sure it's a loss of a PG signal. I don't think the coil would be open, or the whatever they're using. It's probably a coil or maybe even a little magnetic head. I don't think that'd be the problem. So it might be the ribbon or it might be a connection on the board here. But the symptom we're seeing is a classic loss of PG pulse generator. That's what's used to signal. And that transistor looks loose too. Look at this. Look at this here. It might be connections on it that's causing problems. It's got the wiggle. Aha. Yeah. So let's just, I'm just going to look at the board here. See if I spot any other. I mean, obviously that one's bad. I'm just going to go over the board here and see what I find. See if I can find any obvious connections. Well, obviously, that's an obvious one there. Just spot that one from this base station. I'll do this regulator. I think it's a regulator. I don't think that's causing the problem, but it's obviously no good. Roll of solder just rolled away. Yeah, this one here is just bad for sure. I don't think that's causing our problem though. Might cause another problem at some point if it hasn't already. But that one definitely is cracked. As you can see, you can see that they're cracked. And that's not the only ones. There's others I've seen too, so we'll give the board a good inspection. This is actually a diode, not a regulator. It's just a diode. These caps look okay. That one look maybe starting to get a bit iffy. It's not popped or anything, but I want to just change that one out just because I'm in here, right? Scorpio Samsung VCR. Let's pop the mode switch apart. That needs cleaning. Yep, definitely needs cleaning. Just clean it up. Put some deoxit in. Well, this has got to go back together. Got to line it up. There we go. Anybody remember what position the switch was in? I seem to have forgotten. No, I think it's that position there. It has to fit into the cam gear on the chassis, which is right there. So it'll fit in just like that. Okay, back over to the other side of the circuit board. Gonna look at the board a little closer and see if I can spot anything in the PG circuit. I know that it's on the two outer pins here. According to the drum, it's on these two, which terminate down here on the board, down here. So I'm going to look closely, follow these traces and see where they go. See if I can spot anything that looks out of the ordinary. I'm going to resolder these pins here. And I'll reseat the cable just in case it wasn't seated properly. Now these come over here and they go over to this. I mean, these don't look bad. The connections here do not look bad, but I'll redo them anyway. And then this other side of the resistor, oops. Well, maybe that one was bad. Or did I knock it off when I heated it up? I may have knocked it off when I heated it up. Or it may have been bad. It certainly was not stuck down to the board, that's for sure. Usually these are glued down, but that side certainly wasn't. I wonder if that was, well, let's just check it with the meter and see if I've got continuity going through. Maybe that was it, but we'll check it and see. First of all, what resistance value is that? 3K. Now there's a blocking capacitor here. Let's just see if I've got continuity. I got 0 ohms there, and the other one that comes along here, where does it end up? It ends up over here somewhere. We got continuity here, 0.2 ohms, and the other one will be this side over here, and that's going to go over to this chip over here somewhere. I think, there we go. Was it there? 0.2 ohms. So we got continuity there. The other side of this resistor goes over to this chip as well somewhere. There, 0 ohms. There's the 3.6K, which is what this resistor is. So that's got a connection over to the chip. This capacitor here has got a connection over to here, so that we know that that's good. Next, we'll check the I guess I could check the ribbon cable here. We'll reseat the ribbon cable first of all. We'll just do that, just in case. I mean, it could have been a connection problem, right? And then we'll check the continuity on the drum itself. So the mechanism itself, this is the PG pickup, which is, in this case, what is it? It's just a little inductor. Look at that. Just a little inductor right there. So, and that just picks up the signal when that, see with the magnet? See the magnet I was telling you about? The little magnet passes near that inductor and it kicks a pulse. That's the pulse generator. Interesting. So, where other companies use things like Hall effect sensors, they use the simplest thing in the world, a little coil. I can't see that being open. Let's just check it with the meter. And of course not, 8 ohms. And we follow it up to pins 1 and pins 2 right here. It's 8.3 ohms. So that is good. There's no problem there. It could be the ribbon cable, the flexible PC. It could be that. I don't think, well, maybe, who knows. What is that? A little display out here? It looks like it's made out of glass. It's not. It's got LEDs behind it, but let's just, I'm just going to remount the chassis, and we'll fire it up and see whether anything's changed. Chassis should just drop in place on this. I don't want to break that. That looks real flimsy, that. Wow. But and in the meantime, we're snapping all the ribbon cables, cutting them off, dropping the chassis in. Okay, I think that's it. What a flimsy mechanism. I don't know if I have a good feeling on this or not. I don't know what to expect. But one thing that is for sure is that there's continuity from that PG coil here onto the board, or there's continuity from there to here, and there's continuity from the other end of the ribbon down to the chip, to the capacitor and resistor on the main board, and then into the chip. So I don't know. We'll see. Plug that back in. I'm going to leave the camera running here too for this entire assembly, just so you can see at the same time I see whether it's going to work or not. Plug that in there. Plug the power line in down here somewhere. That goes in there. That sits in here, below here. Just go down in here somewhere. It doesn't look straight. Oh, it's not straight. It's sticking up way too high. What did I do to it? What did I do to the poor thing? I think it goes down like this. That's why. Yeah, I got this out. This is out of whack. Where the hell does it go? What the hell did I do to it? This is supposed to be sitting inside here. And it popped out, and I gotta pop it back in, and it's not as easy to pop in as it popped out, that's for sure, because I didn't even notice that it had fallen out until I went to put it together and found that it was riding on top of the rail instead of inside the slot here. Wasting much more time on a $25 VCR than I ever should have. And I still don't know if I've fixed the other problem or not. I mean, maybe. But it's not going to do anything if I can't get it to load a tape. And I got to get this mechanism back together so that it will load a tape. That piece, I know this latch sits in there. That's what holds the mechanism, you know, so it doesn't try to load the tape until you push the tape in. There. I think I almost got it. And I just got to tip this other piece down like that. I think that's how it goes. That's how it goes, kind of like that. Okay. That piece sits right in there, and then this other piece rides over here. I think that's how it goes. Okay, let's try putting the chassis back in now without breaking it again. It's in the correct position. Pull the wires out of the way and pop the chassis down. There's alignment pins on here that line up the chassis so that the connectors below will line up. So hopefully that's going to fix that problem. I guess I'll find out pretty quick here when I power it up whether it's going to work or not. I'm not going to put the front cover on right now. I'm just going to put this top piece on here. That gives it some support. See, now that snaps on properly. We'll try powering it up and see whether anything's changed. My AV cable. Okay, that says rewind, but it's the power button. I guess I got power to turn on the TV again. Alright, let's see if this thing will load. So far so good. And do we get a picture? No, we don't have a picture. We have a terrible picture. We have a picture that's worse than before. What the heck? Possibly the drum isn't seated properly. We'll just try reseating it. It might be that it's not making a good connection. Alright, I just reseated the drum. I just pulled the chassis up and dropped it back down again. That's all. And I'm thinking maybe one of the connections on the drum wasn't very good, and I guess I was right, because now it's got a picture. And it's working. That was weird when I put the tape in. The drum didn't start up right away. I was looking at it saying, what the heck? I loaded the tape, And the drum didn't start immediately, then it started. But as you can see, I don't know, maybe that ribbon cable is bad. You know what? It's the fucking ribbon. That's what the problem is. It's the goddamn ribbon cable. I'm just wiggling the ribbon cable back and forth. And it just the picture just... That's where the problem, I bet, was. Right on this ribbon here. Now it's not doing it. But I was just rocking the ribbon back and forth at the back of the drum. When the picture broke up there, I was just doing this. I just went like that. Of course, now it's not doing it. But I wonder, is it cracked here? Maybe it's cracked right here. You know, I'm going to resolder that. Because to say the drum didn't start, like you guys saw it, right, on camera. When I loaded this tape, the drum didn't start until the tape was fully loaded. And it's supposed to start right away, and it didn't. The tape was loaded, and then it kicked in. I wonder, I bet you this connection here is not good. I bet you that's where the fault is. So I'm just going to, we're going to redo that connection. Undo that just so that I don't put any heat into it and damage the ribbon. But we're going to redo this connector, because I bet you that's where the problem was. Betcha, betcha, betcha. It's playing now, so we know that the set's working. So we'll just redo all of these connections here. I got my magnifiers on so I can see what I'm doing. And we'll just reflow these ones. I need a finer tip for this stuff. Oops. Those are not supposed to be bridged. We'll deal with that with some solder wick. Here we go. Okay, we'll try it again. We'll see what happens this time. We'll see how it boots up. That's more like it, and the picture is good. So it was obviously a connection problem somewhere. May have been on the connector on the top of the drum. Let's see if I wiggle it now. Oh. Could even be that ribbon itself or that connector, but it seems to be working now. It might have been the ribbon cable. It might still be the ribbon cable. I don't know, these freaking ribbon cables. Oh, that's me getting my hand in there. It's the plasma interference. Yeah, it was either the connector on the top, or it might have been that resistor on the bottom that as soon as I got my hand in there, or iron in there, it came off. So it could have been that. Certainly could have been that was causing it, or it may have been the at the top of the drum where it plugs in. Fast forward, reverse, making sure all buttons work. Stop, eject. Okay, I think this one, I think it's safe to say that this one's good. At the end of the day, I think it was probably this. It might have been this. Could have been the connector or the ribbon. or even maybe the connection between, maybe throw some deoxit on that, because that's the one I kind of touched and it kind of didn't work. So maybe we'll just put some deoxit on those pins. When I plug it back in, that'll clean off any oxidation on the contacts. I hate ribbon cables, you know. I really do. I detest these things. You know, when back in the day when we actually had a plug with wires, it was so much more reliable. But you know, the management comes up to the engineers and they say, make it cheaper. Make it cheaper. That's what Ford managers have done to their engineers. Make the engine cheaper, so they go with a wet belt system on a lot of their engines. Imagine this, your oil pump on your car engine being driven by a belt that's immersed in oil, as is the belt that's driving the camshafts, because, you know, it's just too expensive to put a chain in there or gears. So we're just going to use a belt. It's immersed in oil. And somebody thinks that that's a good idea until the engine explodes, because the oil pump stops running. Okay, I think this one is, we can safely say this one's fixed. It's working. It's got a picture on it now. It didn't have a picture on it when I started. So I think it's done. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.